around rodeo, we have this love affair with it. This, almost it is an addiction to it, because at the end of the day, rodeo is performance. It's fame and notoriety if you're good. It's exhilaration. It's adrenaline. It's camaraderie.
Yeah.
And so you're just basically taking a big giant dopamine syringe and just slamming that bad boy.
And it doesn't come down till 4 a.m. on the drive home.
Right.
The rodeo blues are real.
Oh my God.
It is. And it's almost inexplainable.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 5 of Tall in the Saddle podcast. We have 2 new guests today. One, I hopefully will not steal the show from our actual guest, Austin Beaty, but I may step out in a few minutes and let this guy run around. But anyways, this is episode 5 of Tall in the Saddle podcast with Austin Beaty. Jake's going to do our introduction, but before we do that, I'd like to remind everybody that we are still fundraising here at the National Center for Healthy Veterans and Valor Farm with our banner campaign, our brick campaign, and our stalls. The arena's up and running. We're hosting events in the arena now. It's working great. Riding a bunch of horses and planning for the future. Encourage you guys to get on our website, check out opportunities to donate and get involved with the fundraising that we're doing here. We're really excited about it. Things are really moving. So enough of that, and I'll let Jake introduce our guest for today.
Yeah, so Austin Beaty is a certified journeyman farrier. He's an Army veteran, 2 tours in the Middle East. He's a bull rider, former bull rider, retired bull rider. Retired. He's retired, ladies and gentlemen. He's out of the game, officially.
You guys are safe.
No, he's a SEBR national champion, a PBR finalist, and more importantly, he's our friend, and he's a dad, he's a husband, he's a follower of Christ, and we're excited to have him on today. So,
yes,
Good
sir.
morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Glad to have you.
So, how do you want to start this thing out today, Bob?
Well, again, one of these days we're going to have someone on the podcast that's not a close friend and someone we know their story. So we're doing our best to make sure we share and have our guests share the stuff that we find entertaining and fascinating too. But we take a lot of that for granted. So
I think we should take a couple minutes and just go through like each phase of your life, because you've done a bunch of stuff. One of the reasons that we like having you around here is you've done a bunch of stuff that relates to everything that we do.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear a little bit about your early life, your military career.
Sure.
And then maybe we just kind of move forward. Just get a little bit of your story.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Let's just start when you.
What was growing up like? I know growing up was a little bit kind of.
Yeah, that was rough.
Mom was a horse trainer.
Yeah.
He said that was rough. It was bad.
I got to ride a lot of horses. Not all of them were good. But I was riding before I came out of the womb, allegedly. I don't know that I was handy with them, but I sure did ride a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heavily involved with the 4-H.
Yeah, most people don't know that you're actually pretty handy with a horse.
Well, most people would also be liars. I like to ride them. I like to sit on them. No, I do. Nowadays, I'll take a training colt in every fall or two just to kind of get back to the grassroots of things. I really do enjoy it and miss it. But that's what led to rodeo. Is I got tired of showing horses, the 5 wake-ups, the braiding tails and manes, the sleazies, the slinkies, the peppy. My God, the peppy, the show sheen. And then I was like, I want to ride bulls. And my mom was like, no. I had some small success in the 4-H clubs, which as much as you can grow in the 4-H club. I think I had won the state, I qualified for the regionals and things like that. So I had a good basic knowledge of horsemanship, but of course, as you gentlemen know, your knowledge evolves. You never reach a pinnacle of your horsemanship.
No, that's true.
Still growing.
And I think that's where we are now, is I'm still learning and growing with that. But then it led to rodeo. I think I told my mom, there was an event here in Lynchburg. It's called bullbucking in Boonesboro, and that's where I got my start.
I actually remember that.
Me too.
I mean, I would look forward to that, but I fell asleep with my boots and chaps, my show chaps on one night. So
you could be going 90 and hit your head on the ceiling.
For those that don't know, bullbucking in Boonesboro would be, think of like a
Large
Probably,
garage.
yeah, like 100 by 200 garage. Big garage, not big enough for a bull ride.
Yeah.
They would pack that thing out though. Was it Wednesday?
Well, it only took,
Every Friday.
Friday
It only
night.
took 150 people to pack it out.
Oh, and they
it was
fit
cool.
1,000.
It was a cool,
Yeah,
it was a cool
yeah.
event. Every Friday, right?
Everybody's smoking on the sawdust. This was the 90s, 2000s. It was weird.
You remember the clown?
Oh, gosh.
Dennis.
Yeah.
So confession, I hung out with him more than I should have. That was a long time ago.
Don't advertise.
We'll leave that there. I just thought I don't think he remembered it. I tried to tell him, Jake, and he was like, I figured you might remember
I
him.
remember
Yeah,
that.
it was, yeah.
I was told to stay away from it.
You should have. I don't even know if he's still alive. But anyways,
Yeah.
that was a cool place.
That's where it all started for rodeo for me, for bull riding. So to be honest, context, I really wanted to be a really good bronc rider so badly. I wanted to ride saddle bronc, and I was decent at it, and I did eventually compete in saddle bronc, but I was not as good. I didn't take to it as well as the bull riding. But
Why do you think that is?
don't
Help
know.
educate those of us who aren't
His legs ain't
smart
long
enough or well, maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I think everything was, and that's been my entire life. Is like even when I played soccer, I was always an athlete. I always played sports.
I know you
I was
played
so. I was pretty good, but I could not keep my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Like I was so aggressive. I would
Mm-hmm.
slide tackle everybody. You know, and I think that's what led to the bronc riding. To me, is more of timing, finesse. While you also have to be an athlete, everything has to be timed exactly right.
Yeah, it's a dance.
And bull riding, you can kind of back yourself into a corner with a couple knives and get out of there okay. you
Sure,
know?
sure.
So I think that I took to that a little bit better because it's more just run your head into the wall until it works out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I really wanted to be a good bronc rider, and I got serious for a while. I say serious. I had a 2-hour instructional period in high school rodeo from Charlie Atwell. Thank you, Charlie Atwell. He's an IRA world champion. And he was like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. And then I went and competed. And
Wow.
that was it. I never really had formal instruction like they have nowadays, like the Wright brothers.
Right.
We sent my little brother off to a Wright.
Yeah.
An all Wright family school.
Yep.
And you got a level of instruction in detail that you would not have gotten anywhere else. I don't know how we got there. Anyways, yeah, I started riding bulls. I sold 50-50 tickets at Bull Bucking in Boonesboro with the big green hat on my cowboy hat. I sold my go-kart, which my mom bought me. I sold my PlayStation, which my mom bought me, to afford this, I don't know, I think it was like $250 tuition for the bull riding school, and I was hooked. The first bull I ever got on was a Bar 18 salty dark brindle bull that I was so scared of. Like I'm petting them when I'm getting on them, and they're like, "What are you doing? Stop being weird." I don't remember it. I was like, "Good boy."
Getting annoying.
It was Bobby Sims, and I'm sure you guys have
Oh, yeah.
met
Oh, yeah.
Bobby. He was like, "What are you doing? Don't pet him. You're getting ready to ride him." I don't remember what happened. I know I heard the buzzer, and I slid off of his butt, and I was like, "I'm never gonna see another broke day. This is awesome."
You rode your first bull?
First one ever.
Of course he did.
The second one as well. The third one got annihilated.
Right. Okay.
I did end up winning the buckle for that school, which was like, I was like, oh, I'm meant to do this. And then I entered the next bull bucking in Boonesboro the next Friday in the amateur division, but I mean, just got absolutely wrecked out. Like I was like, all right, well.
Did you wear your buckle?
I proudly, I'm a real cowboy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you rode it.
Walking with his shoulders back.
Oh, buddy. I'd walk around an hour before the performance with my daggone chaps on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
Like
ready.
and everybody does that when they first start
Oh, yeah.
out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Okay, so from bull bucking in Boonesboro to
high school rodeo, junior
Okay.
rodeo.
okay,
And that was it wasn't a regressive step, but we only got on steers in junior rodeo. Big steers, like big rope steers. And I did pretty well there. I came in halfway through the season, and it was myself, Michael Lane, Brenton Chafin, and one other gentleman, I think, that qualified to go to the first ever 2005 Wrangler junior high school finals, which was in Gallup, New Mexico. So
oh,
that was
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I did not do well out there. The other boys did pretty well because they were much more seasoned than I was. Like they grew up doing it. And of course, we were a first generation rodeo family. So me and my mom were like, I don't really know. You know what I mean? We're figuring this out together. And things were kind of rough at home at that point. Not to dispel too much information on my mother or anything, but things were rough at home. We were kind of going through a transitional phase she was going into single motherhood for a while, and we were trying to navigate that, all while still allowing me to rodeo. So props to her for doing what she had to do to allow me to continue to rodeo.
She's a tough lady.
Yeah, she's all right.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
For 4'5", she's all right. Thanks, Mom. And that's what took off from there, then into high school rodeo. But I think all of that contextually, I should say, I never really took it as serious as I did until my adult life. Mm-hmm. It was fun, and I wanted to train, but looking back now, I did not train well. I did a lot of stuff, but I did not train well. Still rode my horses. I still rode bareback. You know, I mean, just to get this feeling of an animal between me and the ground. And I had this like three roped barrel that was just impossible to ride. You know, me and my brothers would get out there and they would annihilate me on that thing. And stayed involved with it heavily through high school. Still rodeoed like semi-professionally amateur rodeos in the southern extreme. At that point in time, it had not grown to what it is now. Mm-hmm. And you could go make money at those things. Mm-hmm. And all my heroes were riding in those things. Mm-hmm. And of course, the PBR was now coming to fruition. So I was like, oh, I'm doing this. But throughout high school rodeo, I worked 3 events. We weren't wealthy enough for me to rope or run barrels or whatever we were allowed to do in high school rodeo. So rope, team rope, steer wrestle. So I did work the steer wrestling, the bronc riding, and the bull riding. And all of those other 2 kind of waned away after a pretty severe bronc riding injury at Tazewell, actually, in that concrete arena. Mm-hmm. I don't even really know what had happened. I hit my head and I was out cold for probably 20 minutes. And I woke up in the hospital and I was like, what is going on? Mm. So it may have had something to do with that, you know, like I was a little afraid of the Bronx at that point. A lot. Mm-hmm.
I think for the regular person watching, it's hard to rationalize a fear of one and not the other. I mean, I get what you're saying, but like, you know, I was afraid of the horses, so I'm gonna go get on a bull.
It doesn't make sense. That's why I ride.
No, I mean, well, fear's not always rational either.
It's not,
but it's real.
Horses take off running in a straight line and slingshot you. That's bulls kind of they stay.
At least they're gonna camp out on top of
you. Yeah.
So after high school, what does that look like next?
So I really wanted to college rodeo really, really bad, and it just did not happen. I was not talented enough. I was not getting scouted. I wasn't a Wright brother. I'm not saying that they're the standard, but I'm saying like those boys, they all won like a national championship.
I don't think East Coast rodeo was as recognized as it is now, and it's still not as recognized as it is out west. Yeah. But it's becoming more accepted.
Right, and it's like an anomaly because
JB Mooney probably changed that. JB Mooney and
Brian Canner.
Yeah.
And
Jerome
all the
Davis.
boys, of course, Jerome Davis, Jeff Askey.
Because when you were in high school, Jerome Davis was still on circuit, right?
He had
just gotten hurt.
Yeah, he had gotten hurt earlier on before then. But yeah. And I think also things that have helped now that I've been to the PBR is the televised aspect of it.
Yeah,
it's grown notoriety just because it's in people's faces now.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later. But yes, so I got hurt before I qualified all 4 years to go to the high school finals, which in Virginia is really not, it's not a big deal. I'll just be honest with you. To the kids that may be listening to this, it is a big deal.
We have to combine with another state to get a decent rodeo.
Yes.
Maybe 2.
Yes. By the time I was in, we had maybe 3 or 4 bull riders my last year, and the rest of us were going to Southern Extreme events or SRA rodeos.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's just not as popular.
Right. Now nowadays, it would be, you have to be competitive to go and compete well at the high school finals. It's the biggest rodeo in the world. Mm-hmm. It is just based off of contestants and numerical value. There's 4 contestants in every event from every state. So it's huge. They have to span this thing over
2,000 contestants.
Yeah, it's a lot. You know what I mean? So to the folks that put it on, if you happen to see this, thank you for what you do for the youth of our generation. But the day before we were set to leave to go ride in this Chevy Astro van all the way out to national final, high school finals, I entered Gordonsville, Virginia to try to get some more money because they used to have this trade show at finals that you could go get like cinched jeans for $30, you know, or a new robe or some whatever new toys out. I don't know. I tried to win, did not win. I got knocked out cold and couldn't get on for 2 weeks. So couldn't go. And at that point in time, my aunt-in-law married into the family. Her husband was a recruiter for the Army National Guard. So I was like, what's up? And he was like, "What's up?" And he had told me, "Yeah, no, you can join. There's no real commitment here." So context, I spent my entire career in the Guard.
Yeah.
Most of it would have been on active duty in the Guard, but I was eternal guardsman.
What year was this?
This was 2008. Yep, 2008. I joined August 8, 2008. So 8/8/2008. So earlier that year, before the summer, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need to be able to make money. I need to probably go to college, and I joined the Guard. It was easy. I went to infantry OSET training, which is one station unit training. Went through that summer basic training into AIT, graduated, no problems. I know that they do often cycle out these strange cycles. I was in with a lot of Ranger and Special Forces candidates. So I'm not saying that it's comparable, but almost every single platoon had up to 20 members that were going straight to Ranger school if they passed, or going to selection as a candidate when they passed. So our basic training was nuts. And I'm just like, I'm in the Guard. Why are we doing all this? You know what I mean?
Not your average Guard.
I was like, what is going on? They were really heavy on marksmanship, which I feel is they're not like that now. I don't know. I haven't gone and visited.
Where were you?
I was in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay.
At the time, I don't know what they're calling it now. I think Fort Liberty, something like that. But
I don't know.
it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot in the middle of June and July. And if you guys from the West Coast don't know what fire ants are, or from the North, they will burn you alive. Yeah. Graduated that, and then I got home to my unit. I didn't really make a lot of friends in the Army. I think probably just my poor relationships as a child, which we don't have to divulge all that. I didn't really make a lot of friends, and I had maybe had one or two, but I didn't really get close to people there. Within 60 days, we were notified we were going to Iraq. And this was 2009 going into 2010.
60 days after basic.
After basic, yep. Well, within that 60-day period, we were notified we were going.
Did you have the moment when you were like, I signed up for the Guard, and this wasn't, or did you have all in the back of your mind the whole time? Like
I thought the Guard was, to be quite honest with you,
Yeah.
until I got to basic, I thought the Guard was the only way into the active Army.
Oh, okay.
I was so stupid.
Okay.
I was so dumb.
I mean, did that
That
flip?
recruiter did a great job.
Did that flip the script for you though?
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
like, I'm going to die, and I had seriously considered. I remember having this conversation. I was like in the bathroom, I don't know, brushing my teeth or combing my hair or something when I had hair, and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna run away. She was like, Nope, no, you're not. And I
Your
was
mom's
like,
a vet too.
Oh yeah, she was Navy,
Yeah.
military police, and some intelligence. I haven't really got the whole story out of her. Maybe just some cool stuff. I don't know. I was like, no, I'm going to Canada. She's like, no, you're not. You're gonna be fine.
That's not a good place. I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna get crucified for that.
I was scared. Like, looking back now, there was, sure, you're going to war, but our mission for that deployment was convoy security, which to the other vets that are listening, we know that it's not a sexy mission. Like, you just get in trucks and you secure vehicles up and down the main sustainment routes.
Riding shotgun.
Yeah.
Literally riding shotgun.
Either you're driving, you're a truck commander, or you're in the gunner's hatch, you know. And I was young, so I got to drive a lot. And these giant MRAP vehicles, and I'm 5'6". Anyways, yeah, we weren't exposed to sustained combat like much of the. At that point, before the drawdown was announced, yes, we received incoming fire, we received small arms fire, things like, but it wasn't sustained combat like the initial push into Mosul, or as soon as we crossed from Kuwait into Iraq, that we didn't experience all of that. So I had a pretty, I would say, lush deployment. It's not like I wouldn't have been up to the task, but I don't know because it didn't happen. You know what I mean? I can't. This next portion of it, it's not dicey. There's nothing weird that happened. Oh, it's weird stuff. But I came home from 2 weeks of leave, and I met a young lady who was like 10 years older than me when I was home. We were at a horse show in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I met her, pronounced my love for her, and then we got married when I got back from that deployment. So, yeah. But during that deployment, the great news is we lost no one within our battalion. We were the only infantry battalion that was attached to this Guard unit out of Louisiana because they needed infantry support. So we lost no one throughout our battalion. Were there injuries? Yes. Were there fatalities? Yes. But again, we were not sustained to heavy combat. But again, I'm sure we would have met the task. Even 18-year-old Austin would have met the task. But I do specifically remember one night stopping at this like truck stop we call Scania, and I can't remember back that far, but I was calling home. What would have been midnight there was like, I don't know, earlier-ish in the morning or in the evening back home. I was talking to my grandfather. Out of nowhere, they just started ripping the base in half with mortar rounds. And I think they were 120s that were impacting. Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know, 120 millimeter mortars they're pretty big and they can cause some real damage. And they started essentially just bracketing the base right in half. And I remember somebody ran in and was like, "Get to the bunkers!" You know, this classic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I'm on the phone with my granddad, and I'm like, "I gotta go." Yeah. I'm scared. Like I'm scared to death. I'm like, I don't even know where it's coming from. Where is it impacting? So we grab our rifles and just run back to the trucks to take shelter there.
Wow.
That's just one specific example. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then got back, got married, shortly after divorced, and that's what led into horseshoeing school.
Okay.
Because the Army, the state was like, "Hey man, we'll pay for you to go to trade school since you've got 6 months off." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I started looking around at horseshoeing schools, and I just don't know how I ended up on it. I think the state guard gave me a list of horseshoeing schools that accepted the GI Bill or the VA benefit or GI Bill, and it was Oklahoma Horseshoeing School. And to me, the notoriety of Oklahoma means that it's the best horseshoeing school ever.
Of course.
No. But I did go, and I did learn a lot. And buddy, when I left horseshoeing school, I thought I knew everything. I did not. Not even close. And that is what took me on this really strange path to where I am now. However, I spent a lot of years in the Army, in guard, throughout that.
Mm-hmm. How long did you end up doing? You're out now officially?
I am out now.
So how long did you officially stay in there?
16 years.
Oh, wow. A fair bit of time.
You just got out officially, like
2024.
2 years ago,
Okay.
or last year, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the guard obviously trickles farther down into this story, like than we are now. But when did the bull riding start back up again?
So I always had been rodeoing throughout my entire time in the guard. But again, it was never serious. And I don't know why I never got real serious about it. I don't know. I had gone through a lot of broken relationships with women, and at some point in time, sprinkled in there, I became a police officer for Bedford County, and that was fun. But like, man, we did not get paid enough to be on the road. Like, I'll say that plainly. There was just not enough money involved for me to go risk my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yes. So somewhere in there, after my second deployment, I don't know what flipped in my head. I went to a couple rodeos before, then I started getting really, really, really heavy into it, just going and getting on because I had a small support. It's like God moved these men into my life to kind of, whether they were good men or not good men, because there were a few in there that were not good men, to kind of shove me forward back into rodeo. Mm-hmm. And there used to be, and I'm so glad they just announced it, every Tuesday there used to be an event in Abingdon, Virginia at the Washington County Fairgrounds that, rest his soul, Brad Nelms used to produce. I would go religiously every Tuesday, knowing I had to be back at work at
Every Tuesday to Abingdon?
Every Tuesday to Abingdon.
Holy crap.
There would be like a car of us, like a carload of us that would go. Guys that probably didn't need to be getting on down there.
It's like, 3-4 hours?
Oh, it was three. And then we would go to like the bars afterwards.
Of course you would.
Knowing we had to go to work the next day, and do PT. Because at that point I was active guard. So
right.
I'm active duty, quotation mark, at a guard station. Getting paid the same, receiving the same benefits as an active duty soldier. I was just their representative. Mm-hmm. So their administration NCO, as well as being a squad leader and a fire team leader, things like that. I would go to there, and that's when I think that was most notable when things started to turn around. I was like, okay, I'm actually getting decent at this, just by pure exposure to it.
Getting the reps in.
Yep.
That
means
probably in a lot better shape too.
I was. I throughout my career, the early part of it, I did not focus on physical training.
And you knew how to train.
Oh yeah.
Like you'd been trained how to focus on honing a skill.
Mm-hmm. And honest to God, if you're looking for a nugget out of this podcast, persistence will take you further than talent alone. If you just outlive them, persistence will take you where the places you want to go, if you can survive it. And it's not meant for everybody. I thought I was going to be a world champion. I'm not. Did I do some great things in rodeo that God allowed for me to do? Yeah, absolutely. I just don't wear a world champion buckle. And it's okay. I have to retire in peace with that. So that deployment happened, and we were there for 11 months. I got cut short a little bit because they wanted to send me back early to go to a leader development school. Whatever, it's just what every E5, E6 has to go through. So ALC for those listening. Went to that, maintained my active status, and then when I got back, while I was over there, it was such a relaxed deployment. It's Cutter, for those that know what that's about. We were doing tower guards and running. They had me running a post by myself with like 9 other dudes, which is unreal to me at 25 years old, why you would do that. I started training really, it was the best shape of my life. We're talking like my mile time was almost sub 5. I was in great shape. And I was like, I need this to go and be a professional athlete. So as soon as I got home, I talked to a pastor of a chapel as well while I was over there. I remember this conversation sitting outside of one of the combat housing units. I was like, hey, pastor, won't relinquish his name because I don't remember it. I was like, what should I do? Should I get out when I get home? Should I chase this rodeo dream that I feel God's put on my heart? And he was like, you got to do what you got to do. You know, just the most classic thing. So I didn't get much advice, but I did. I bought my PRCA card and I hit the road in the first Frontier Circuit. And again, God put this man into my life, Tim Kent, and I hope that he hears this. He taught me how to PRCA rodeo. Because there is a level of professional rodeo that you have to be your own administrator, secretary, flight keeper, bookkeep, all of it. And if you're not doing those things well, you will not compete well. Because you've entered yourself in Davie, Florida on Friday and Columbus, Ohio on Saturday with no plan how to get there. Weird stuff like that.
I've talked to other, not just amateur, but other semi-professional or not quite to the big show, even the guys that are in the big shows of other sports, whether it be golf or whatever. And if you're not in the top, whatever, 40 or whatever this particular sport is, it's not pretty.
Nope.
It's hard. I talked to a guy, a local guy, was a golf professional, and he was like, you're scratching out a living that doesn't support the life that you're trying to live, playing a game that you're good at, but you're just not good enough at. And then the collateral damage, you look back, is just all around you. Now, if you're the best and you can say, honey, get on a flight with the kids and the nanny, I'll have a hotel room waiting on you, and it's already, the lunch is on the table when you get there, and you're one of the big boys, maybe it works. But the rest of the guys, it's a wonder. Yeah. It's just not a wake of trauma left behind them. It's just the nature of
it's the God's honest truth
of that kind of position in those sports. It's crazy.
And think about all the money that you've invested into.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that's the biggest contributing factor, but I probably spent close to millions of dollars just chasing rodeo. I would be a millionaire right now.
Yeah.
If I'd invested that.
Yeah.
But like you said, I like that point that you made, like this the wake that you've left behind you. And I'll be honest with you, like I've struggled a lot in my own marriage, in my own life with the wake that I've left behind chasing the dream of rodeo and not being in the top 10%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's songs and poems written about it.
Literally.
Yeah, about that particular topic. So, I mean, it's real. I mean, life gets you to the point where you're at and you don't want to look back and regret it, but you want to try to say, well, I'll learn from it. But because the past is the past. But I've heard the story before. You just insert a different, whatever you're chasing.
Yep.
You insert the job, you insert the sport, you insert the money, whatever it is.
But, I mean, for those of us that have been in and around rodeo, we have this love affair with it, this, almost it is an addiction to it, because at the end of the day, rodeo is performance, it's fame and notoriety if you're good, it's exhilaration, it's adrenaline, it's camaraderie.
Yeah.
And so you're just basically taking a big, giant dopamine syringe and just slamming that bad boy.
And it doesn't come down till 4 a.m. on the drive home.
Right.
The rodeo blues are real.
Oh my God.
It is. And it's almost inexplainable.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to
It's addictive.
I thought about it, like, if you guys were to ask me, what was your favorite part about riding bulls? It's not, because I've never really been a drinker. Mm-hmm. I've never been a drug user. I just haven't. It's just not something I wanted to do. But the feeling as soon as you step off on your feet and you accomplished what you had trained so hard for, just that one bull, I can feel it crawling up my skin right now. That's what I miss about it. But if that's all that I miss about it, I can live at peace with that. You know what I mean? I don't have to sustain the injuries or the trauma to my marriage or not being there with my daughter, because she's cool, man. Like, I like my kid.
She's super cool. Yeah, I don't think it's unhealthy that you feel that way.
No.
And especially being able to manage it. I mean, it gives you a sense of pride when you look back that you got to experience it, and now you can, maybe, who knows, maybe God brings something else into your life that gives you that same feeling.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out what it is. And
Well, that's kind of the thing too, because you've got to assess priorities. And if rodeo is paying the bills and it's what makes your life what you want it to be, then yeah, it's got to be a top priority. But if it's taking away from what you want your life to be and you're just chasing it because of that hit, then it's an addiction like anything else. And it's no different than if you're chasing crack or heroin or whatever.
That's the God's honest truth.
I mean, it's no different. It's a chemical addiction, and you're never actually addicted to the chemical. You're addicted to the dopamine the chemical gives you.
Yeah.
So it's really no different in that sense. So it's props to you for assessing those priorities and realizing that, hey, this makes me feel good, but this is more important, right?
And was there a duality? Was it also paying my bills and affording us a really good life for a while? Yeah.
that's the dangerous part too.
That's
when
what
you
it
can, when
was.
you can attach that money to it and you can justify it with
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
If you're breaking, if
But
you,
it's a industry of diminishing returns.
Oh, dude.
oh yeah,
I mean,
12,000 gone
once
like
you
that.
pass 30, you're
Oh, man.
yeah. But
And
when
that's it.
yeah.
That's what everybody talks about, is like the average bull rider age is like
22.
22, 20, anywhere between 22 to 28, let's say.
As it
Top
should
end.
be.
And I, honest to God, think so. Like, as I've gotten old, I didn't,
Your prefrontal
unfortunately.
cortex starts to kick in at some point.
Well, it's like, what are you doing, dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the bad thing is, I didn't start experiencing real success, like winning circuit titles and qualifying for the Ram National Circuits or the PBR Velocity Finals, until 31, 32 years old. So I was like, oh, I'm only getting better. And that's just not physically how it works. I slept wrong last night. I feel like I'm about to have a stroke. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the world. Yeah, I'm the oldest one in the room. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back on the timeline. So we've covered the sheriff's office. We've covered, the National Guard's going to drift on through the conversation probably. Let's talk about. You touched on farrier school. So you've been operating your farrier business for how long now?
So when the Army decided that they were going to medically retire me, which I did, I fought like tooth and nail, because I had just became the platoon sergeant of a sniper platoon / scout platoon. And I really wanted to go on deployment with those guys, because what does every leader want to do? They want to lead, you know? And I never really wanted to be that type of tyrannical leader. I really felt like I had a connection because of a servant-ish style leadership with those guys.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go badly with them, and they were like, no, we can't go. Because I suffer from some PTSD, mostly not war related. All of it, everything was okay in life, besides some anger management stuff, some attention deficit disorder, which I'm 100% yes, I do have. None of that actually happened. After my second deployment, I unfortunately witnessed one of my soldiers in my squad commit suicide, and that was life altering. And I didn't catch up to him until six months later.
Yeah.
And I had to visit an inpatient facility to get some help, some real help, because I could not control symptoms. My life was literally falling apart. And then the other gentleman, the other soldier that was there with me, he was my team leader, I was his squad leader. I told him not to come, but he did come, and he also witnessed that, and it has impacted his life as well. But I will pause and say, I am glad that I am the one that found him, and it wasn't the janitor coming into the armory that found him,
Right.
or the supply sergeant. Yeah. He was my soldier, my responsibility, and I am glad that I was able to help handle that situation. Plus, I'd had police training at that point, so I knew what was going to happen. I knew that there needed to be notifications. I knew that there needed to be an investigation, things like that. And then the officer that responded there as well, he actually called me because he knew me. We worked at the sheriff's office together. He was like, hey, man, what do you know about this? And I was like, I have a strange suspicion, because I was going rodeoing that weekend that it happened. I came back from Cowtown, New Jersey, and that Sunday night, he called me. I was like, hey, man, like, what do you know about it? I said, well, I have a sneaking suspicion that he's probably back in the armory. Let me go and find him. To spare you any details, it was horrific. And that did end up changing my life. Probably for the better.
And that was in the armory.
Yes, that was in the armory, in what we called the Falcon's Nest, which was like the hangout spot. It's like the boys' room, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, so we dealt with that, and that's when the decline of my military career started going down. Not because I wanted it to, but because there is this stigma in the Army that, like, if you ask for help, you'll get in trouble. And to some extent, I'll just be completely candid with you, that is exactly what happened. I asked for help, I had to go and get help, and then that's when my career, this is not boastful, but I was performing at apex level prior to that. I never had a bad review. My PT scores were always maxed. My marksmanship scores were always, and they sent me to any school I wanted to go to as a first choice just because they knew I would go and execute. And then that's when nothing physical or marksmanship wise or leadership wise declined, but it seemed like everything else started to fall off. Like that was the apex of the career itself. Like God had shoved something else in the way to say, all right, I've got something else for you. And that's also when rodeo starting to
close doors.
Well, that was its peak. And then it also started to wane off because I lost interest in PRCA rodeos, mostly because of injuries. Like I really made a run in 2019 to go after the NFR. And 2 months in, I ripped my groin I ripped the adductor muscle off the bone. And I mean, it was horrible. And I was like, well, can't ride here. And I went on to even that year.
Was that in a hang-up? Or?
No, I just got stepped on in Florida. I was at the Cattlemen's,
I got you.
Okeechobee Cattlemen's Association PRCA rodeo, and I just got stepped on weird, and it just ripped. And then 2 months later, I had qualified that year as well to make the Ram National Circuit Finals. And for those that don't know, it's the NFR for the circuits. There are 13 circuits in the PRCA, and they only send their top 2 from each event to that circuit. And it's $500,000 in prize money down there too. So it's a big, big rodeo for those of us that can't go and make runs at the NFR. That's our equivalent. So, yeah, that's where it started to peak out, and that's when the Army started involving itself, saying like, all right, well, we got to consider medical release from this one. Didn't want to go, but
right. So one of the things that we talk about on this podcast is one of the the pillars of what we're searching for here is stories of excellence, which I think is one thing that's across the board for you. You're always pursuing to be the best at whatever you're in.
Yep.
You know, you're going to reach apex level if you can. And so it sounds like that was what was going on there, is that you were pursuing that, and then as trauma does, you experience something that you weren't prepared to deal with. And in trying to deal with that, relationships typically are either grace-based or performance-based. And with the Army, obviously, it's going to be performance-based. So as your performance became impacted by what you were experiencing, it sounds like the trust in that relationship began to wane, which is why they started pushing for medical release. Is that right?
I think just because of the sheer fact I couldn't be around.
Yeah.
Like I would have to make these mental health appointments and things like that.
Right.
Which sucked, you know what I mean? Because I did there were symptoms that I couldn't control. Like if we went to the field and did a field exercise, I would start having panic attacks laying on the ground in my bivvy cover. I couldn't help it. I wanted it to stop, and that's when I went and started asking for help. And then of course, like I knew that I was going to sniper school at that point too, so I needed to, which is a funny story about sniper school and the other schools I went to. I wasn't smart enough to go. I can say it now, statute of limitations are up. But I had to go get help, and that's when they were like, we got to start seriously considering medical retirement for you, early medical release. So I'm glad that it turned into medical retirement, because now my family is afforded the opportunity of TRICARE for life,
right.
which is awesome. Like if there's nothing else the Army gave me, that's cool.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So that's kind of another theme too of you choosing priorities of, okay, my mental health is more important than my career, because I can't keep functioning this way. I can't keep performing at this level. I can't shove it down. I've got to make the decision, or else everything's going to come apart.
Oh yeah.
So choosing to pursue that regardless of consequences
Yeah.
is another theme. So at that point, as your career in the Army started to wane off and your bull riding's kind of peaking, going the same way, where are you? What are you doing in your personal life at that point?
My wife Julia and I had kind of just met. She moved down from Pennsylvania, and we were managing a farm out in Manita. It wasn't a large operation; it was like 250 head cattle farm, and we lived there on the property. And that's really all we did. And we rodeoed, and that's all we did for our income was rodeo, manage that farm, and the Army. That was it. Mm-hmm. And they were kind enough. My leadership understood me enough to know that, like, all right, if Beaty's asking for help, he needs help.
Right.
So they were patient with me. However, and were they also good to me about rodeoing? Yeah, because if we weren't clear, like rodeoing in the Army is sometimes a big no-no. But I didn't get injured as often as I could have. That's where we are in life at that point. I'm still like, I think personally in the best shape of my life. I thought I was mentally okay. My relationships were not. They were horrible. And I was just getting ready to go to Pathfinder and sniper school at that point, and not even thinking about shooting horses. I had shot horses maybe intermittently here and there. For like Julia or my mom once or twice, but I still had no clue what I was doing. I'd be honest with you, like I was a cold shooter with a hack of a job, and thought I knew everything.
Banging on,
buddy. I thought I knew it too. If I could put a pad on, dude, I'm charging you $50. You know what I mean? It was horrible, but yes, that's where we are in life right now. And looking back in retrospect, it was not a good time. I thought I was okay. Like we had a friend living with us as well, and the fact that they had to like claw me out of these depressive or manic episodes of panic episodes and take me to the hospital almost on a 2 to 3 time weekly basis.
Wow.
That's when I needed help. You know what I mean? I knew I needed help. And things started to change around after some medication, which I abhorrently fought. But hey, man, it's what it took to get through that hump in life.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I did not end my own life because of it. Because there were times where I honestly considered it like, I cannot keep dealing with these symptoms. I need a way out. Yeah.
But it's interesting that you, at that time, were even pushing through, because I almost feel like, once you have kids and once you have family, there's a little bit more, responsibility that keeps you hanging on. But at that point, you and Joey were living together, but it would have been easy.
Yeah, it would have been super easy if we're just being honest. Like,
yeah.
It would have been easy just to check out. And then, like, I honestly, I don't even know what kept me around, but it had to be a God thing. God just kept placing people into my life at the most appropriate moments out of grace because he loves you and I, not because I deserved it. And that's what if there's the overwhelming arching theme to all of this is I still don't know what I'm doing, period. End of story blank. But God put me in the positions and allowed me to have small success in rodeo, which to some people might hear this and be like, well, dude, those are big successes. Like you won the circuit, you went to the PBR Velocity Finals. Sure, they're big deals, the Seaver National Finals and the champion, but they're not what I thought was a big deal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, perspective-wise.
Yes, perspective.
So it's somebody's big deal, but it's your...
Yeah, it doesn't say
wasn't what you were shooting for.
Yeah.
And most people are never satisfied with. Most people have higher expectations and aspire to do. I mean, if you ask the best in the world, they'd probably be like, one more probably wouldn't hurt. You ask the richest guy in the world, how much is enough money? A little bit more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being able as a man to draw the line somewhere, or a woman to draw the line somewhere and be satisfied no matter what that looks like and be able to move on is the difference between quality of life and not.
Absolutely.
Because you have no quality of life if that hangs around in the back of your mind the rest of your life. But if you can draw a line in the sand and say, from this point forward, this is what life looks like. I'm appreciative for what I had, but I can move forward. If you don't have that, you're going to be chasing your tail the rest of your life.
The rest of your life.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
It's not
absolutely.
healthy.
And that's the road that it led to. It led to the fork in the road that said, I need to give this up. Not just because of injuries, but you guys are aware because you've have other farriers here to cover for me during that time. But in October of last year, which I was supposed to retire the year before then, after I won the national title, I started chasing the International Pro Rodeo Association for a world championship. And I was leading it until October I was gonna win the world, leading it until October of last year, and then I broke my foot just on an odd dismount. But I had what was called a Les Franck break. So essentially, that comes from the cavalry units in France. When a rider would be dismounted and his foot would still be lodged in the stirrup, he would have a rotational break, breaking those joints and the medial to lateral on the foot. That's exactly what happened. And at that point in time, my marriage was all but dissolved. It was horrible. And then I got injured. And then I had to have surgery. And then I was out until the International Finals Rodeo in January, which, thank you, Dr. Bucker. Hope he sees this. But
He's the best.
Dude, he was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get you to get on the last bulls of your life. But it could not have happened any better by the grace of God. The last bull I ever got on in my life, I won the round at the IFR. Did not win the world, still placed third overall. So first to third, not bad. Won the round and won the buckle on the last one I've ever been on in my life. I can retire happily saying that I went out on top.
It definitely makes it easier.
God, I don't have to chase it anymore. Thinking like, oh, the last one I got on. I honest to God, don't care if I ever get on another one again. I don't.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be mentally. All right, so let's push it along for the sake of time.
Hang on, before we go too far away from that, because I watched all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Talked to you guys some throughout, and I wanted not to delve in deep and get your personal life on blast here.
Sure.
But that period of time where you were hurt, and your marriage, like you said, was all but dissolved. But that's not where that story ended.
No.
So talk about that just for a second. Just talk about you and Julia's journey through that time.
Sure. Okay. So
don't, like I said, don't put your personal life on blast. Sure. But I know there's some redemption, there's some healing there.
Yeah, and there is, and we're still in the process of it now. But
we all are. Everybody is. Every day.
I had made some poor choices on the road to rodeo, which is also like, you can read through the lines, people. I don't need to go into the details of what happened. I made poor choices while in the active rodeo because there was so much distance between my wife and myself. And made poor choices while I was at home as well. When I was injured, I was also asked to leave because of some stupid choices that I had made out rodeoing. And I did. And I had to live like with friends. I had to couch surf for a little while. Ended up staying like at my parents' place in a camper. And my daughter would come and visit. And that was just the most heartbreaking moment of my life. Most because of the shame that I had to wear associated with that. And the redemption that I knew that I needed through God to my wife. And I think that if we're going to live by the greatest commandments of all, is love thy Lord with all your heart and soul, and love thy neighbor. My neighbor also happens to be my wife.
Yeah, who's your closest neighbor?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to learn how to serve her again. And that's where we are at right now. So we have made leaps and bounds of progress, which is awesome because every relationship up until now in my life has been broken with every single. I don't have a lot of friends because of it. I have 4 friends in my life, and you two are sitting in this room with me. You know what I mean? Hey, and you're my new friend too.
Shout out to Jonas, the producer.
Jonas. But yes, we are still on the road to redemption. I think we're in a much better place, and I pray every day, and I pray publicly in front of my wife and daughter too for our marriage that God will redeem it. And I hand it to Him because
And He can, and He will.
And He will. Even whatever let His will be done.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I am at peace with it because I know that I'm trying. I am just a human, and I'm trying my ass off, but I'm trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like Jake said, I mean, it's a hard job. It's hard for 2 people to live together, no matter how much love and all. It still takes effort on both people's parts. And when you're not focused and you're distracted and life gets in the way, I mean, it's bound to get ugly. I mean, it can't be easy. So, putting Christ first and making sure those things are in the right place. I mean, I can't imagine starting from somewhere other than that.
Yeah.
To make things right. But.
Well, and I was listening to a podcast. It's the Wild Courage podcast with Jeremy Morris, and he just did an episode with Seth Dahl, who's one of his partners. But he was talking about how when we're in relationships, and typically when we get angry, it is fear-based, or it's always either related to either a wound or a dream. So anytime that we have an illogical, angry reaction typically to our spouse or in a relationship, it's because we were triggered by a wound that we have received in the past, or it is threatening a dream that we have. So when you talk about chasing rodeo, or you talk about, traumatic childhoods or military service or whatever trauma you've got with you, those things come up all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard on a relationship.
Well, and believe it or not, the things that you post, I pay attention to as well. I saw that and I really pondered that. I was like, I wonder what that means. And then it's just it quite simply is staring you in the face that you are affected by either a wound or the dream of or the illusion of something that you have. However, your expectation of that would be harmed. And so I appreciate you posting a little bit. Like, you don't, and to everyone else, when you post stuff, like, it's uplifting. You know what I mean? People are looking for those nuggets of information from who they consider mentors in life, and that's where I'm at now. I try to be on social media to younger farriers, younger bull riders. The clinic I tried to host in my house that got rained out. I don't care. Like, I don't care about money. I want this generation of rodeo athletes to learn now what it took me 15 years to learn. If I can shorten that curve for you. I want a young farrier now to not go through 15 years of cold banging on shoes. If I can help you with 5 minutes of my time, start that progression now, I've saved you years. You know what I mean? That really does matter to me.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know to serve my neighbor.
And I think that's changing in this world of people that live under cowboy hats and things like that. The gospel is definitely being talked about a lot more. The openness and vulnerability for like skill sets. It used to be, from what I've studied and learned and talked to older guys, and even like, you've been doing this way longer than I have, but it used to be a secret. Like, you had to like read a poem, be quiet, watch something happen for 2 months, figure out the magic potion. They weren't going to just say, son, you're doing this wrong. Let me spend 15 minutes with you and help you. It was almost like a game.
It's called gatekeeper.
A gatekeeper, yeah. So I've seen a little bit of that in my short little career in this deal and learning, but I'm seeing something change. And I guess it's because, I hate to say it, but like sooner or later, at 40 and almost 40 and another 10 years, we're going to be the older guys doing this, and those guys are going to be dead.
Yeah, the same guys saying that cowboying's a dying art are the same guys gatekeeping the industry.
Maybe so.
But
Look at it. Look at every rodeo you've got. I'm not saying this means something, like it means that they're cowboys, but everyone wants to experience the wholesomeness of being the illusion of a cowboy.
Sure.
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
think that'll ever die.
And let them do that.
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't care if he went to track supply and he's wearing it backwards. Does it piss me off a little? Sure.
Yeah.
Do I feel like you need to earn your cowboy hat? Yeah, I do. But I'm so glad that you want to be a part of what God has given me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all want to hear a funny story real quick?
Yeah.
Love telling on myself. So I went to Maine this past weekend, and I drove through New Jersey, and I've not driven through New Jersey ever in my life. And it's fine. New Jersey's fine. But what I didn't realize is you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So I pull up at like, I don't know.
That's not a service either. That's just a protection thing.
Yeah, it's like a union thing. I don't
Yeah,
know what
they're not doing that for your benefit.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, I pull up to a gas station in New Jersey, and I'm like getting my wallet, and I'm getting my hat. Attendant comes, knocks on my window, scared me so bad. I put my cowboy hat on backwards.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, man.
It was great.
Can I help you?
Yeah, right. All right. Anyway, so rodeo career, you're retired.
Yep.
Let's talk about horseshoeing.
Yeah.
Because I personally greatly respect your abilities, your passion to chase excellence in that field. So let's talk about that a little bit. What drives you to shoe horses? What excites you about that? What's that like?
I really think that God has put this in my... Now, contextually, horseshoeing is not an easy job. Oh. Like, if you stand under 10 horses a day by yourself, A, you are an idiot, and B, you're going to make some money, but B, you have to love it, because horse number 10 is not going to look like horse number 1, if I'm just being honest with you. And we shoe how many here? You know what I mean? But that's why I bring a crew with me to keep us fresh, you know?
In a day.
And I want horse number 10 to look like horse number 1, the amount of detail that I pay to it. And as I've gotten better in it, I understand how to be efficient in it now. And that is where I'm deriving this passion for it. I don't know why I feel the way I feel for it, but I will invest godly amounts of money into horseshoeing to be better at it. I love the fact that I get to I now get to make I don't have some first sergeant call me at 5 a.m. like, where you at? You know what I mean? I make my own schedule, which is, don't have this illusion, and you well know as well, when you work for the public, you are on 24/7.
Yeah, and you can't make them happy.
No, I love every customer that I shoot for, except for maybe like one of them, and one of them is my mom. I'm just kidding. But you're never off. Like, I'll get texts on the week, and I don't care. I really don't. Does it get annoying? Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to serve your animal and you, because I know what the horse has brought to you and me. Mm-hmm. It has created now a life where I have now made the most money I've ever made in my life, living comfortably and doing something that I actually enjoy. And I think there's a phrase that I recently have been living by. I don't know who said it. I don't know if I made it up. But constant exposure to the pursuit of excellence is what inevitably will make you better. You have no choice. You can fail your way all the way to success on this one. And if you're around other people that are so much better than you, you have no choice but to rise. That you will never rise to any occasion. You will revert back to your lowest or highest level of training. Mm-hmm. So I want to be around dudes that are really, really good. I do not want to be the smartest guy or the handiest guy in the room. Like right before we got on the podcast, I'm asking a dude, a national champion with this, that, hey man, can you come teach a clinic at my house? Because I want farriers in our area to get around guys like that and see something they may have never seen that might help a horse somewhere.
Yeah, and when you end up that guy that is helping other people and providing that service, and you are kind of the guy, it's even more important to have people that are going to pull you up and not down, because you'll sit there and look around and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm not around anybody pulling me up, and we call it your well of courage, but like your battery will get zonked, and you're like, holy smokes, I've not been around anybody. And that it's not a conceited thing. It's just you haven't been challenged, you haven't been forced to think, you haven't been pushed, because those people are just drawing it out of you, and that's fine. Yep. But if you don't realize that, it'll drain your battery. Like when I converted my daughter's Power Wheels over to the drill battery, right? And I didn't know if you do that hot rod change, it'll drain that drill battery. It'll make it super fast, but it'll drain the drill battery down to where you can't recharge it.
Oh, smokes.
So it's kind of a neat lesson to learn. Like I tried to do the trick to make it recharge. It will not charge. Yeah. I sucked all the life out of that battery to the point where it will not recharge. The charger doesn't recognize it, and the battery's shot. I had to buy a new battery.
That's an excellent analogy.
So if you're not careful, when like you've gotten to that point around here for sure. Now there's always going to be people, but you've gotten to that point where people are going to be, hey, show me how. I've watched it here. Help me do this. Run this clinic. If you don't get away, case in point, sitting across the table, even if it's not groundbreaking, you don't leave there and you feel like you're a savant now. You got around people better than you.
Yeah.
And that you got to do that.
You have to have constant exposure to excellence.
Yeah.
What I think now for us is at our age, you know, we're all somewhere 30 to 40-ish.
They call you out.
Ish.
Now is when it's really important for us to do that, because the guys that we're looking at as mentors are still extremely capable.
Yes.
Like, you know, Martin Black still totally in his prime to do everything he wants to do. Is he riding broncs anymore? Probably not. Not if he can help it. But, you know, you can go and you can learn from those guys.
Yes.
Right? And they're still here. And I was thinking about guys like that, guys that are in their 60s, that are, you know, moving towards their 70s. Their mentors are gone.
Who do they?
Yes.
They have their peers, and they can peer mentor each other. But the guys that were 30 years ahead of them, they're gone. So now is when we've got to be really taking advantage of that. Like when you're younger, you're kind of like, I got time, I'll go ride with him later.
Yeah.
You know? But I think now it's really even more important, because now not only are we needing mentoring ourselves, but people are asking us to mentor them. And so for us, like you said, keep your well full, keep your battery charged, keep learning, keep keep striving, keep getting around that excellence. So
Yeah.
you've got more to pour out.
Yeah, it lights your fire a little bit
It
more.
does.
It stokes your coals. Who was saying it the other day? Was
Well,
it
it
here?
reminds you don't know everything.
Yeah.
That's a big
Or you forgot something.
Right. Yeah.
Like, because if you stay insulated in your own little world and you're the top thing, right? You're the guy everybody comes to. And,
Yeah.
like I could stay on this farm and everybody that comes here would ask me about horses. And if I never left this farm and never saw somebody better than me, I might at one point get the idea that maybe I know everything there is to know about horses, and then I get bored
It's dangerous. Yeah.
because I create the illusion that I've learned it all, which is absolutely not true. Never will be. You can continue to learn about horses until you die, and you'll never learn it all because every horse is different. But the point is, if I get bored, then I'm going to move on to something else.
Right.
When the actuality is, I wasn't bored. I just didn't expose myself to something new.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
That's
the God's
good.
honest truth, and that's where I think the great thing about the American, which what we have here in America, we do not have any designations that said farriers must be certified in order to work for the public.
Right.
Which, in my opinion, is dead wrong. I know that people are going to, I don't want government involved with the horseshoeing community. However, I think there needs to be regulation. This is just my sole opinion. So that the customer, the consumer can get quality work and ensure they're getting at least someone who has met a standard. And it doesn't
the
set-
smart consumers will.
Yeah. And there are people, well, I mean, there's very few people that are like, are you a journeyman? Well, yeah, I am. It only really matters to me. You know what I mean? That's the great thing about the AFA, though. There's other endorsements. There's a forging endorsement, therapeutic endorsement. So all these things that I want educator endorsement, I can go after those year by year by year to increase my bank, and my drawers are now full of knowledge that I can reach into and access at any time.
Tools in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because the average client has no idea.
Yeah.
The they either it's right or it's wrong, but they don't understand why, and not having that check and balance in place where you could just be screwing your horse up.
Yeah.
It's scary. And like that's a goal for me this year. I've got a couple goals I've set for myself this year, and one of that is to spend enough time with you and Chase to where I have that skill set. And I don't want to have a forge. I don't want to be banging hot steel, but
Just the
if
basic
you own a
knowledge.
horse, you should probably know how to tack a shoe back on,
Sure.
reshape one that fell off, just that basic, like you're out all day kind of deal. And do you have to know that to own a horse? No, but like, why wouldn't you not want to?
Sure. Or how to pull a shoe off.
Or how to pull it, yeah, whatever. And that's my part of my journey is late in life is acquiring these small basic skill sets. So when I hang it up one day, I can say, man, it wasn't pretend, it wasn't halfway. You put effort into it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because like the average person, even if they complained about your work, they probably wouldn't even know what they were complaining about.
Right.
They're uneducated.
Sure.
And
And
my
I
horse
deal
is
with
lame.
that
It probably has nothing to do with the farrier.
And it very well might, because I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time. Like, I may have crippled my wife's horse. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm trying.
We'll edit that out.
No, but I do. We try to at least meet the great thing about horseshoeing is there's a roadmap on the bottom of that animal, and as long as you follow it safely, almost every time you can execute safely. Almost every time. There are rare exceptions where you might be like, ooh, this is going to get sketchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And there's horses here that need therapeutic stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That I prefer to work on with therapeutic measures as opposed to just like, I don't know, let's just see if this traction splash shoe works real quick. Wow, pow! You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where we are right now. Just in the pursuit of excellence that is where life has me right now is, man, let's be an awesome farrier. Let's learn how to make shoes better. Let's learn therapeutic endorsements. And like I have one of the best in the world, an hour and a half up the road from my house, Travis Burns. Like, he's literally in the Hall of Fame. He's a fellow of the Worshipful Company of Farriers. And that he's a TEE. He's a consumer. I'm sorry, he's a examiner for the AFA who tests people yearly to get their certifications. Like, I have that knowledge, and anytime I get a chance, I go up there and steal some of it. Because I'm gonna get it somebody else.
That's refilling the well, refilling your battery.
Yeah.
So give a shout out for your business. We're on the topic. So
Oh, yeah.
if someone needs a farrier or they're they just bought a horse or they're looking to change it up, what's the name of your business and where are you operating out of?
So I am Austin Beaty, certified journeyman farrier. My LLC is Broken A Farrier Services LLC. I'm located in Glade Hill, Virginia, and I'll travel really anywhere for the correct amount, for a reasonable amount. Like, you can't expect me to drive
4
2
hours for a trim.
Yep, ain't gonna happen. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know that right now. I do have a crew, usually sometimes with me. And if you're a young guy or gal listening and you would like to apprentice, I'd love to help you out. If you don't feel like you have to do this alone, and I'm speaking to you specifically, you don't have to be isolated out here in the field. We've got you. Reach out to somebody, and if they say no, go to the next person. We are not all that way. I promise you, I will do what I can to help you.
Broken A.
Yep, Broken A Farrier Services. Mostly because I'm broke.
We all are.
Well, and that works out too for the young folks coming with you because they get a chance to not only learn from you, but when you can't make it, say you do get hurt, whatever, the other guys are going to fill in. Those guys, I'm going to call the guys that have been apprenticing with you before I call somebody else.
Yep.
And then, when you get a call that, hey, I don't have time to fit that into my schedule. I don't have time for that single trim that's an hour away from my house.
Yep.
Send that kid. He lives closer. Let him
Yeah,
go.
this person lives 20 minutes from
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen you. You're so unselfish. I've seen you do that, and it speaks to your character, the way you operate. So it just says a lot about you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
But
I didn't even realize it.
yeah,
You want to, let's see, you want to shout out Julia? We need to get Julia on here too. Get her.
Yeah, she has a wealth. I'm going to be honest with you. My wife's name is Julia Beaty.
Yep.
And I have learned so much about horses from our experience together, owning them, making mistakes. And I thought I knew horses. And that woman came into my life and she taught me. So even if our marriage spits the bit, I have all that knowledge for free, which we will not. We are working
It ain't going. You're going to keep working on it.
But man, if you guys could have her on, the wealth of knowledge that she has, it's abhorrent to me that she doesn't have more people to consume it, like more lesson programs. And that's where she does have lesson programs. However, we do not do beginner lessons. I do beginner lessons. You aren't going to want me to coach you though, because I'm pretty rough and very militant in my instructional. But if you're looking for help from her, it's AA barrel horses, and she'll hook you up. We can do consignments. We can do all kinds of stuff for you.
She's not as scary as her facial expression.
Yeah, she does have hard RBF, but she is sweet. She is.
Yeah. You picked on your mom a bunch, but that's Allen's Mountain Livestock Company.
Yep, that's my mom, Jody Toms.
Jody
She
and
does
Richard.
run beginner lessons a lot.
she is in my opinion, my daughter goes and spends time there with. I was going to say with kids, but I've seen her with adults too.
Yeah.
She just has a way of working with people and making them comfortable around a horse, which can be uncomfortable sometimes. She's got an amazing stock of good horses for that type of work. She's got some other stuff that can really get after it too. But the clinic she puts on in the summer, and not to steal all your fame, but the clinic she puts on in the summer for the kids, top notch. So if you're looking for something to do with your kid in the summer and expose them to horses, my child has been in it, and I leave her there. It's not like I stand at the fence and watch. So I mean, there would probably be some things I will do that with her, but when I leave her with your mom, I feel like I leave her with family. So and Reese, it's like family. So they do a really nice job there too. So
Yeah.
got a good group of people around you.
Yeah.
So
And I highly encourage anyone that's wanting to get into the game, get around men like this, maybe my mother, maybe someone that's close to you. We all want to give you something, whether we want to admit it or not. We want to share this with you because that's the legacy of all this. That's how it's survived for millions, probably not millions, but thousands of years.
yeah, someone did it for us. And then we also know the frustration of having to figure out things on our own too. And our nature is just to, to help or serve.
Yeah.
So you couple that with the, repaying it forward and then what you had to learn the hard way. So I think the tradition, the farrier, the cowboy, the barrel racer, the anything that goes under a cowboy hat is still alive and well and will still be around.
Yeah.
And
I have hope for it. I don't think that it's dying.
No.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, social media and TV are really helping us out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's there's a revival of the cowboy ethic and horses, and I think it's only gotten better. And I think the horsemanship revival of the 50s and 60s that continued on through Ray Hunt and Tom Dorrance and all those guys, changing how we work with horses, and that continues on and continues to get better, and we continue to learn more about it. We'll talk more about that another day, but yeah, I think truthfully, as far as horsemanship goes, we're on a really good glide path, and good farriers, and
we're all talking about Jesus now too.
Right.
I don't know why that was
Yeah.
taboo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Talking about Jesus, we're talking about mental health.
Weird.
I mean, conversation's open. Anything's on the table. It's a brave new world.
Yeah.
All right, Austin Beaty, Broken A Farrier Service. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram.
No, Instagram, just Facebook. I'm old now.
Gotcha.
And under a horse
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
I probably won't answer your call. Leave a message. Send a text.
That's right. All right.
What do you think?
I think we can wrap this thing up. You wanna? Somebody? We usually close this thing out in prayer. You wanna lead us on that?
I'd love to.
Sweet.
Our gracious, our Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day, the fact that we get to reach maybe someone who needs to hear you. I pray that those that don't know you come to know you, for it's an eternity too late. I pray that you teach us how to let you lead us, guide us, direct us this day and let everyone under my voice be saved. And I pray that you have mercy on their sins. And it's all these things we pray in the holy blood of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, that wraps up episode 5 of Tall in the Saddle podcast. This was you got to be our first actual kind of cowboy podcast. I mean, things of that nature. More to come. We will probably have you back on if you're willing to be back on and hang out with us again in the near future. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.
Adios.
See you later.
Thanks, Jonas.